Hi guys, hope you're well. So yeah, crazy times we're living in right now. With all that's going on in the world, I know it's tough. Everything that's happening externally, and on top of that, you've got a chronic illness. It feels like everything's kind of out of control. So this is what I kind of wanted to touch on firstly is, with all the pain and the suffering and everything that's going on in the world, the misinformation, the wars, the pandemic, all of that stuff. And I'm going to say this now, it's external to your situation, okay? One thing that I had to really kind of realize is that while I was healing, I couldn't really take on board everything that was happening externally. It was more about my internal journey. So I really had to kind of block a lot of that noise out. And it's hard, it is hard. But in the world that we live in, I think it's the only thing that we can do is try to work on ourselves and kind of go deep within ourselves and find that peace there. Because if you become that pillar of peace, so let's say if you've got family, kids or whatever, if you're that pillar of peace, if you can actually work on yourself and gain some kind of peace and have that transformation within yourself, that's how things transform around you. And I found that as well. I mean, you know, when I was healing, I definitely thought I would need people around me. I thought I needed a big group of people, a support network, doctors, all these kind of people around me. And to be honest with you, you don't. I mean, this is a very personal thing, right? This is something that happens between you, within yourself. So you don't need all of these people around you, okay? You've got your family there. I'm sure you've got a partner, you've got your kids, etc. But this is the time for you to heal, okay? And you need to be a little bit selfish here. You need to take time for yourself, right? So I know most of you, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you probably had signs that your body was giving you for years. I know I did. You know, I had little things that were happening every year and year out. And, you know, the more that I ignored them, the louder they got. And in the end, everything just came crumbling down. So, you know, you've got to now start to listen to that inner child, that voice, and start developing that relationship with yourself. It took me a long time to figure that out. And I'm telling you guys, this is fundamental. And you know, you need to speak to your family. If you need to do that, that's fine. Tell them that this is what I used to say is this is time that I need for my transformation. Okay, so that's what I wanted to kind of impart to you. All the craziness that's going on around you, right? This is a journey within yourself. Okay, it's the external world and all that kind of noise that's got you here in the first place, right? And it's your inner world that needs help and it needs care and it needs attention. And that's where the journey starts. So that's kind of reassuring in a way, because you don't need everything around you. This is a fascinating journey that you're taking on with yourself, right? So keep that in mind, guys. I just wanted to kind of share that. So yeah, in terms of where we're at with the protocol, so as you know, I wanted to keep it very, very simple for you guys, because I know it can be a lot of information. You know, you've probably done a lot of healing protocols, you've probably tried a lot of different things. And I remember when I was going through this, it was often the simplest things that work best with repetition. And that's where I kind of garnered all these skills from, and I brought all this stuff together because it was simple, easy to do. I could work it into my daily routine, and it just made sense to me. I mean, it was no fancy, it was nothing fancy. I didn't have to spend bucket loads of money for it. You know, it was just, yeah, fundamentally like very interesting to me, and you know, it just kind of spoke to me. And I'm hoping it's speaking to you. I mean, I'm getting a lot of great feedback from you guys. I've had some calls with you guys, and it seems that, you know, you're really starting to see some positive progress, which is just amazing. So we talked about obviously brain retraining as one of the core exercises. So, you know, helping that kind of limbic system. So often when you get into this state, you're in a very limbic state. You're in fight or flight. So what the brain retraining does, it breaks those patterns, okay? And then it sends those messages of safety internally. So a lot of you ask me, like, what do I do when, you know, I'm really, really panicked? go to your brain retraining. I mean, I remember when I was, literally in survival mode 24/7, the brain retraining is what got me out of that. Just practicing that day in, day out. And it is after a while, you start to realize that you can elevate your mood, you can change your mood just by your thoughts and visualization. And visualization's been around for a long time. I mean, you look at Hollywood, you've got Jim Carrey, right? That guy, I saw an interview with him once, and he was talking about how he owes his whole career to visualization. I mean, when he was growing up, he would constantly visualize receiving a $10 million check for his first movie, and he'd repeat that again and again and again, and that's exactly what happened in the end. And he's all of his success, if you go and you read up on him, a lot of it he puts down to visualization. If you look at sports, right, all the top elite sports stars in the world, visualization is a big part of what they do. So let's say they're playing soccer, football, cricket or whatever, before a big game, they will visualize, practice that in their head again and again and again. So they are preparing their body and preparing their state for what's going to happen, right? They're changing the neurochemistry in their body, right? They're preparing themselves for success, and that's why they're successful, right? So this is no different. This is, you're preparing your body, you're preparing your mind, right? You're basically putting yourself in an elevated state. You're showing your body and mind what it is to be healthy and whole, and that's where you need to be at, okay? So the more you do that, the more you practice that, right, you're gonna start seeing those changes bit by bit, and just keep with it, okay? Just keep with it, because it works. Trust me, it works, okay? And then you've got the second pillar, which was the vagus nerve stuff. So again, this is for your parasympathetic nervous system. If you remember, I talked in previous videos, your brain's kind of stuck between your ventral vagal state and your sympathetic. And, that's where you're getting a lot of the fight and flight, you're getting that, depression and that feeling of hopelessness. With the vagus nerve exercises, right, that's stimulating your vagus nerve, we're bringing in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and repair. And that's where your body needs to be to kind of heal and to kind of, move out of this, okay? So that rest and digest, right, that's what all the vagus nerve exercises are about. So keep on with those guys. You've got the somatic experiencing, okay? So that was all about trauma release. So as I mentioned, the main reason that you're in this situation is at some point your body could not handle trauma that it went through, right? And this could have been a collection of little traumas, it could have been one big trauma. It doesn't matter at this point, right? It's what caused this, okay? And so the somatic experiences allows you to process that trauma through your body, okay? And it will dissolve, and once you start releasing that trauma, your inflammation starts to go down, your brain starts getting back into a kind of rest and repair state, and all of your problems start going away, okay? So it's about resetting the nervous system, okay? And I remember when my nervous system slowly started to reset, okay? So I had a lot of problems as well, digestive issues, etc. And I always remember that, it was almost like my detox channels started to turn on. That's what happens when your nervous system starts to rebalance, okay? Your detox systems, your endocrine system, all of this stuff starts switching on, okay? And all that probably toxic parasites, all that stuff that's been building up in your body, okay, because of a disbalanced nervous system, okay, that starts to get processed through your system. So it's not just the trauma, it's the toxins, the chemicals, all that kind of stuff. If you remember, I talked about in my previous video, right, what's happened to you guys, the force field went down, you got attacked by everything, could be Lyme, mold, whatever, right? But once you start balancing that nerve system, okay, your body starts operating optimally again. Your detox pathways start switching on again, okay? And everything starts to process as it should do through your body, okay? So this is where I wanted to kind of talk to you about healing reactions. Now, some of you have messaged me, had some calls as well, and you noticed while doing the protocol, you're noticing certain symptoms getting better, others kind of moving around, your anxiety gets worse, or certain headaches, or things like that, right? Okay, so the way that it works is it took you a long time to get sick, okay? It wasn't just one occasion, trust me, it took you a long time to get to the state where you are. So when you're going back the other way, okay, the body's correcting itself. And as I mentioned, healing is never a straight line. It's always like that, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Okay, this is the way that it works, and you need to stay on the train, buckle up, and just basically stick with it. Okay, so all of these kind of symptoms that you're going to be starting to having, like I used to have my liver hurting, which was very strange, but that I realized was the liver finally starting to work again properly and processing all those toxins that had built up for the for a couple of years. You can get flu symptoms, headaches, emotional releases, anxiety. Somebody messaged me that they felt like trauma was coming out of their body, and that's absolutely normal. That's your body starting to process it. And it can be uncomfortable. It can last an hour, it can last a couple of hours, it can last a day, it can last longer, okay? But you need to stick with it, okay? This is your body rebalancing itself, and it needs to process this stuff. So when I was going through intense healing reactions, I mean, some people call them Herxheimer reactions, healing reactions. It doesn't really matter. It's basically your body trying to correct itself, okay? And you just need to hang on, okay? And just know that you're okay, okay? And as I said, be curious with your symptoms. Don't be negative about them. Don't start to label them as negative symptoms, okay? Things will get better. And what I used to find is I'd have a big healing reaction, and then all of a sudden I felt a little bit lighter. I felt like, hang on, something had shifted and it felt better. I felt like my anxiety had gone down. That's what you're going to start feeling bit by bit, as that nervous system starts rebalancing, right? As you start moving out of the sympathetic state to the parasympathetic state, right? You're going to start noticing these changes inside you, okay? And that is, as I said, it's your body kind of correcting itself. So just know that you're okay, know that everything's going to be okay, and it's just part of the process, okay? So guys, I hope you find that helpful. And as I said, if you're going through healing, just know that this is part of the process. Just keep hold of the train. If it gets too intense, then just back off with the procedures a little bit, okay? Just know that you're okay. This is just your body healing. Just look at anything, you cut yourself, right? What happens? Your body slowly starts to heal, it scabs over, and new skin starts forming. That's what's happening with you guys right now, okay? So guys, take care, stay strong.